Hi everyone, Mitch from SportsShopPlace.com and PicksandParlays.net. It is Saturday, April 27th, 2019. Here with your free picks. Of course, we're here live 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Let's just do a quick recap of the NFL draft yesterday while we're waiting for people to join us. Of course, normally I just try and kill a few minutes here, giving people the opportunity to join us live. So the notifications go out with YouTube and on Facebook as well. But of course, we do free picks on this show every single day as well. But going to just recap the NFL draft. Of course, Josh Rosen going to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins see it as limited risk, but I think they're wrong. I think they're dead wrong in this case because I think the damage that they've done with their fan base is horrific at this point. When you look at the Dolphins quarterbacks the last few years, it's been the bulk of the time. Well, there's been three quarterbacks. It's Ryan Tannehill, Jay Cutler, and Brock Osweiler. And Josh Rosen fits right in the mold of the second two. So, I don't understand it. And it's like, if you're playing for Tua or Herbert next year, it's like you certainly didn't need Josh Rosen on the roster to do that. I understand that he's low pay or whatever, but I think that you're always better off taking a guy like Drew Lock or like a guy like Finley or Marquise Williams, something like that, and get a guy who's maybe got a chip on his shoulder, who was drafted a little bit later than he thought he was going to be, like Dan Marino was, and roll the dice with them, as opposed to this game with Josh Rosen, who we know just simply has no heart whatsoever, and that's the problem. But anyways, let's look at a few of these other picks. Of course, while all the experts were picking all these other running backs, our guy, Darrell Henderson, went to the Rams, who had just paid Todd Gurley a pretty gigantic salary to go out and spend a really high pick on a running back like Henderson. But as we saw, these small type players, kind of like the Tyreek Hill style, kind of like we talked about yesterday, were in vogue once again. DK Metcalf to Seattle. We had Paris Campbell to Titan. That was huge. I mean, that was just a great pick. The Paris Campbell. Just phenomenal stuff. Some other real, questionable picks. Once again, these Michigan players going really high. These Michigan players generally are guys that recruited high out of high school, but have underachieved on the field. Michigan has had a top recruiting class almost every single year since Harbaugh has been there, but you look at their performance on the field, and they never show up against the good teams. So I'd rather have players with heart, guys like Henderson, guys that are just real good football players any day of the week. Singletary from Florida Atlantic, guys like that. I'd way rather have a player like that than some guy that rates out well at a combine. That's for sure. And Drew Lock it fits in that mold. So Denver possibly hit a home run there with Drew Lock, who I think Drew Lock is the best quarterback in this draft. I know I'm hearing Finley is possibly, some people believe he's better because he's, like we talked about yesterday, he has that experience and he hung around in college long enough. But what we'll do is at the end of the draft, at the end of today, either today or tomorrow, we'll just go through all of the draft choices for each team, and we'll just evaluate. We'll grade out each team, and we'll see what we come up with at the end of the day. Because so far, I think that most of these teams, except for the Patriots and maybe the Rams, don't seem to watch college football at all. It's like they don't watch the games at all. They haven't seen what's transpired on the field. They haven't seen who has the guts, who has determination, all of those things. And I just don't understand it. So the Patriots seem to watch football, and they ended up with some really good players on that team. And man, they of the Michigan players, they got the one guy who has guts. When it came to the bowl game, Michigan had one guy who was going to be a high draft choice that was willing to play in the bowl game. And then when they interviewed him, the one guy I truly respect on that team says, I'd have to be dead not to play in this game. And that's the type of guy you want. I mean, not one of these guys that rates out well or, is highly recruited or something like that. You want a guy that can play football. And I think that's why we have so many busts now in the NFL draft. Is that the teams are going by these combine numbers and they don't watch what goes on Saturday. Like Irv Smith from Alabama, this is a hell of a pick. I mean, wow. That he lasted that long. Those Iowa tight ends went above him. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. But, all right, let's get to some free picks. We will, like I said, we'll do a final report card on the NFL draft. College football is our game, so we know all these guys. Let's look at the NBA. I did not give out a premium pick on the Spurs and Nuggets. Boy, it seems when the Nuggets have wanted to put the hammer down, they've been able to do it to the Spurs this series. But we haven't seen the Spurs in this situation with their backs to the wall. The Spurs are getting 6 in this one. We've seen the Rockets fall flat on their face in big games this season, especially against the Warriors, right? So if there's a coach that's going to be able to exploit a weakness, it's going to be the Spurs. But we do have inverse line movement here, which, not a lot of people may be thinking along the lines that I am here. So I'll tell you, let's go with the inverse line movement. Let's go against our best judgment here. Let's go with the number and we'll ride it out. We'll take the Denver Nuggets, and that'll be our first pick for today's show. I don't know where my cards are. There they are. So since we started using these cards, I think our picks have gotten worse. So we'll give one more card a chance for the show. If not, we'll go back to our scrap paper, which seems to work just fine for us. But we'll take the Nuggets minus the 6 at home. That'll be our first pick for today's show. Of course, we do free picks here every single day. Our best bets always over at Sports Chat Experts and PicksandParlays.net. We're also running that promotion with PointsBet. It's in our Facebook group, on our Facebook page, and on the website. You can get a free month of Premium Plus with a deposit, with opening an account and depositing at PointsBet using our link. You can also get a free 3-day consensus report. You don't even have to deposit anything. You just sign up for an account and you get a free 3-day consensus. A lot of you live in states where you can't bet. We have a great offer with PointsBet where you get $1,000 in free bets. You can lock in that offer for when you're able to use it, when your state either goes legal, or when you happen to be traveling in an area that has PointsBet. And I was able to get that deal locked in where you can maintain that $1,000 in free bets. It's 2 bets, $500 each. Pretty good deal. 100% free 3-day consensus report just for signing up. This is what they want to expose their product because they feel it is that good. But, of course, we'll get into some more free picks, less advertising. Let's take a look at the game between the Red Sox and the Rays. The Rays 7-2 on the road this season. I know that the Red Sox had their way with them in Boston, but I'll tell you, I'm going to take the Rays in this one with Charlie Morton. I just don't like the Red Sox. Well, I generally don't like them at all, but I really like them less this season, that they can't win games or hit the football. And that's always a problem. So we will take the Tampa Bay Rays. I like the Indians against the Astros. The Indians seem to have found their stride. Bieber has been pitching well. So, baby, give me those Indians. Plus 115. That'll be our third pick for today's show. Of course, our best bets always over at Sports Chat Experts and picksandparlays.net. You can use that code BET15. That does not work on the premium area, only on the experts. Go to the game between the Padres and the Nationals. I like the Padres here with Lauer at plus 140 against Strasburg. The Nationals just 11-13 this season. The Padres 15-11, 8-3 on the road. I mean, this is called the whole public perception thing. 32% of the bets here are on the Padres. The line's dropped from minus 185 to minus 170 on the Nationals. You have inverse line movement. You have a team with a better record getting 1.5 times your money. This is not rocket science. This is called value. Take the Padres at plus 140. Keep rolling right along here. We'll do one more. I'll take the Blue Jays here with Sanchez at home against the A's. About minus 110. I don't like this A's team this year. I think that I think the A's just don't look like the same team. We've been on the A's for years, and normally find the most value on the A's because they're kind of one of those teams that nobody cares about. There's certain teams out there that you're always going to get really good value on, and the A's seems to always be one of them. And this year though, they're not good value because they're 14-14, 4-6 on the road. I know it's always a sneaky 500 and then a little bit of a run that they make to try and squeeze into that wild card spot. But I don't know. I think some of the A's play this year has been disappointing. I think it's been with the starting pitching too. I think the Blue Jays, I like the way that they've been playing recently, 7-3 in their last 10 games. They had that horrific start to the season where it just seemed they couldn't get out of their own way. I know that they got swept at home in a 2-game series against San Francisco. But the thing is, before that, they went into Oakland and they bludgeoned the A's. They slaughtered them. And they also went into Minnesota and beat a very good Twins team 3 out of 4. So when you look at the 7-3 of the Blue Jays in their last 10, it's 3 out of 4 against the Twins, a sweep of the same A's team, and then 2 losses to San Francisco, which if you could figure that team out, you're just better at this than I am, which it's super possible that is the case. And then they beat the A's again. So they've won 4 in a row against the A's at this point. I think they make it 5 in a row. I think they own them at this point. So we'll take the Blue Jays. Let's do one more. What the hell? I know I said one more a second ago, but we'll do one more on this one. Of course, I also did the parlay today at picksandparlays.net, so you can check that out. Of course, you can get 15% off all of your purchases. We got that great points bet offer. Be sure to check it out in our Facebook group on the website and on our Facebook page. I love giving away free stuff. I found today's card extremely difficult. I did not give out a lot of premium picks today just because I found it so tough. I just didn't think that there was anything that was just like, I gotta bet this. There just wasn't too many of those games. Matter of fact, I like some of these games that I've given out here a lot better than I did earlier. Just sitting here and talking through them with you guys, which is always a good thing. Let's see if we can maybe get on a total or something. How about the Twins against the Orioles? We'll go minus 2.5. We can get plus 135 on our money doing that. So we'll take the Twins minus 2.5 runs at plus 135. It's the only way we can get plus money on this game is to lay 2.5 runs against Straley and the Orioles. I'll take my chances in that one. There's no real early starts today, so this is what we got. We got the Denver Nuggets minus 6 to take that series against the Spurs. We got inverse line movement going in that one. I don't love that game. I did not give it out as a premium pick, and I could probably, if one of you guys has a really good point for the Spurs, I could probably be convinced to take the other side pretty easily. So we could talk about that in the Facebook group. I like the Rays at plus 120. I just hate the way the Red Sox are playing this season. The Rays have been tearing it up, especially on the road. Indians plus 115. I think that's where the value is in this game. Got the Padres at plus 140. This is one of those ones that just doesn't make any sense at all. We got the Padres 8-3 on the road. The Nationals 5-7 at home. The Padres getting plus 140 on our money. I'm only human. I can't pass that up. I'll take the Blue Jays at minus 110. They've slaughtered the A's 4 in a row now at this point, and they've won 7 of the last 10. Minnesota Twins minus 2.5 with Barrios on the mound against the Orioles, who it's just got 2 letters to describe the Orioles, JV. Anyways, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.